Sometimes people don't pull away because they feel nothing.
They pull away because closeness wakes up a fear they were never taught how to hold. The fear of being truly seen. The fear that if they need you, they can be hurt by you. The fear that love, like before, will end in pain. It's why some people go quiet the moment things start to feel real. Why they grow cold or distant or confused right after the night that felt closest. It looks like they stopped caring. But sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes they pull away because, for the first time, they felt something they don't know how to survive losing. At first, they were there. They asked questions. They remembered the small things. They made you feel like maybe this time it was different. And then, almost without warning, they got quieter. The messages got shorter. The warmth got harder to reach. They were still there, but somehow they were no longer with you. And that's the part that hurts the most. Not only that they pulled away, but that it made you wonder whether the closeness was ever real at all. So you go back over it, quietly, late at night. Did I say something wrong? Was I too much? Did I imagine all of it? Why did they get distant right when we were finally getting close? If you've ever sat with those questions, I want to say one thing before anything else. You probably weren't imagining it. Something real was there. What changed wasn't whether it was real. What changed was what that realness quietly began to ask of them. Here's the part that's almost impossible to see when you're the one being pulled away from. For some people, closeness doesn't only feel good, it also touches every place where they once learned that love could hurt. When someone starts to matter, a quiet fear can wake up underneath the warmth. Not a fear they choose, often not even a fear they notice. For some, it sounds like, if I let myself care this much, I could lose it. So they step back a little first, because leaving feels safer than waiting to be left. For others, if you really see me, you might decide I'm not enough. They can enjoy being close right up until it becomes real, and then they feel exposed. And for some, simply needing another person feels unsafe, because somewhere, a long time ago, needing someone is exactly where they got hurt. None of this is usually loud or obvious or planned. Many people who pull away couldn't fully explain it if you asked them. It isn't a decision. It's closer to a reflex, a part of them trying to protect itself from a pain it still remembers, even when the present is safe. And sometimes, you can almost watch it happen. They get busy, right as things get close. They change the subject after a conversation that actually meant something. They turn a tender moment into a joke. They go quiet after a night that felt beautiful. They reply slower the warmer it gets. They say, I just need some space, but never quite explain what's happening inside them. And so they stay, half here, present enough to keep you hoping, distant enough to keep themselves safe. Sometimes distance isn't the absence of feeling. Sometimes it's a person trying to escape a feeling before it grows strong enough to hurt them. And this part matters. That may explain it. It doesn't erase what it does to you, because something happens to the person who stays and waits. Slowly, almost without deciding to, you start to make yourself smaller. You get quieter. You ask for less. You stop reaching for clarity in case clarity is the thing that scares them off. You start editing yourself before the words even leave you. and you call it patience. Sometimes that's exactly what it is. But somewhere in there, you stop being honest about what you actually need. Not because you've forgotten you deserve more, but because you're afraid that asking for more is what makes them leave. So let me say this as gently and as clearly as I can. Their fear of closeness was never proof that you were too much. You weren't necessarily asking for too much. You may have been asking someone who was afraid of giving it. And there are things love simply cannot do, no matter how much of it you offer. You can't love someone enough to heal a wound they won't look at. You can't make yourself small enough to turn someone's fear into safety. You can't carry both people in something that was meant to be shared. Compassion is one of the most beautiful things you have, but it was never meant to cost you yourself. Understanding why someone is afraid does not mean disappearing so they'll stay. So maybe both things are true at the same time. Maybe they pulled away when they started to care, because caring touched places in them that were never taught how to feel safe. And maybe you were never the problem for simply wanting to be met. Love isn't supposed to keep you questioning your worth. It isn't supposed to make every need feel like an inconvenience, or every honest question feel like a risk. You're allowed to hold both. You can have real compassion for why someone became afraid of closeness and still refuse to become smaller so they can stay comfortable. You can understand someone completely and still choose not to vanish inside the understanding. You deserve a love that doesn't ask you to become smaller, just to be allowed to stay.